What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas Eve, and soon to be Merry Christmas. This stream is starting off a tad bit different because of some of the technical difficulties that I later found out about the previous stream. In particular, the audio. I've received numerous complaints about how sometimes there's a doubling echo where you can hear basically every word twice, split right after another. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. So I need a real big favor right now to let me know, just because I'm talking into this microphone, how do I sound? If there's like a normal echo, meaning that if we were face to face talking to each other and you hear the normal type of echoing, I'm perfectly okay with that. The question is going to be is like, do you hear a double echoing effect where you can hear almost every word twice within a matter of split seconds to one another? Because I put in quite a few hours this morning trying to figure out how that happens and how to get rid of it. So we're gonna be doing. Okay, good. I see already no echoes. What we're gonna do before we get started is we're basically gonna do a sound check. I'm gonna be walking around the table so you can hear when I'm at the table. You will hear what I believe to be a normal echo sound because I can't be as close to the table microphones as I can this microphone. And so just anybody that's new, everybody that follows me knows exactly what I'm talking about because they've seen the evolution of my audio stuff that I've had here in my garage. But for anybody that's new, this is what I can do for you. Let me take this camera here, because even like right now, you might get a little faint sound because I'm not close to the microphone. But I'm going to take this camera here and show you that this is my audio interface where all of my microphones are plugged in. You see all the pretty little lights lighting up to let you know what particular microphones are actually picking up sound right now. The two cables that you see here, those are the table microphones. The one on the very left that's lighting up all the time is the one that I'm talking to right now. And the one right here is the one that's at the foot end of the table that's underneath or that's right above the main camera. There you can see the table microphones. I have them set up in a way to where hopefully they don't appear in the main camera. A-Funk, this is a Scarlett interface. 8 inputs in, and I think it has it's a 8i8, I think. And then you can see Demetrius there in the background, but you can see the shotgun microphone that I have right next to the webcam microphone. All of that gets plugged into here and then gets put onto OBS. Now, I later learned that the reason why the echo was actually occurring was because I have all 4 microphones coming in to 2 different setups. Now, I'm not going to get real technical as to how this stuff actually works. All I'm going to say is I think I have it figured out, or at least I hope I have it figured out. So this is how this is going to work. I'm going to turn this off real quick. And so if I step right here in front of this shotgun microphone, I should sound very similar, not exactly the same, as when I sound when I'm standing at my laptop at that microphone. However, the moment I turn around, even though this microphone can still pick me up, my vocals are going this way, this is where the table microphones start to pick me up. This might sound a little echoey, maybe at a distance, maybe faint. But what I'm hoping is going to happen as we stream, for the remainder of the stream, you're not going to hear this doubling echo effect where you can hear every word twice and it's actually kind of hard to understand what we're saying. So before we get started, how did I sound while I was out there? Did what I say make sense in regards to how the when I'm out at the table, did it make sense, or does it make sense what I'm talking about, to where when I'm at the table it'll be probably a little bit lower. It won't sound as crisp as when I'm sitting right here, or when I'm standing in front of the microphone. And then, of course, you won't have to worry about the table sounds. The table sounds sound great. Those table microphones work perfectly as far as the table sounds are concerned. And so, good. I'm not going to mess with anything else for the remainder of the stream, and we're going to find out if that double echoing effect actually comes back, because I think I have it fixed. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, with that being said, hey, let's go ahead and really get the show started, because this is the final day that we have Demetrius here to work with. We actually have another exercise that we're going to do, like the one he worked with me on yesterday on doing angle selections. And then we only have a few hours to actually stream, because we've got some other stuff that we have to do later on tonight. And then Demetrius is flying back home tomorrow. So, with that being said, Demetrius, what did you have in mind today?
Yeah. Good to have. Thanks for tuning in. It's been, different the last few days. We've covered, the first day I worked with Carly, and we did some stuff that was more geared towards, beginner, strong beginner. Yesterday, I was working with Chris personally, and the reason I was doing that was kind of two reasons. One, I wanted to work with Chris, and second, and I just wanted anybody that wanted to come along for the ride to come along for the ride. Secondly, there's a lot of content on YouTube that's aimed, there's like a pyramid in pool where, more beginners than intermediates, more intermediates than advanced. But there's kind of some lack in the, I wanted to do stuff that was targeting maybe some people that weren't always getting the info or the help that they needed. So there was a little bit more advanced. What I've got to work on today is going to be more intermediate. So I feel that but it's going to also strongly hit advanced as well. So the concepts will be intermediate, but the applications will roll all the way up to the strongest players in the audience. So everybody should get something out of what we're doing today. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. So let's get started.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and for anybody that's new to the stream, I'm Demetrius. I do pool coaching, boot camps out of my house in Minnesota. More information at mnpoolbootcamp.com, stands for Minnesota Pool Boot Camp. And I just want to mention too, for anybody that's watching, I've got a kind of a cool thing that I'm starting with one of my road partners, Jesse Engel, who's a professional player. We're going to be playing 7-8 pro tournaments next year. And we are going to be doing a vlog series from the tournament road to do not just news updates of like what's going on in the tournaments, who's winning and things like that, but also kind of our experiences, our matches, what went well, what didn't go well, what we learned physically, mentally, some things like that. It's going to be a little instructional, a little entertaining, and a little bit of news updates. We're going to publish it. I work on the Queue It Up podcast as well, but we're going to do this vlog series. So if you're interested in following along, subscribe to my YouTube channel, mnpoolbootcamp.com. We might publish it there or somewhere else, but I'll keep everybody posted through my channel.
And Demetrius's social media info, I'll have those pinned in the comment section on both Facebook and YouTube shortly after the stream is over.
All right. So first, what I'm going to do is a brief overview of target gun. So Chris, you know this, but I want to make sure that everyone else knows the terminology I'm using. When we play pool at the beginner level, it's about pocketing balls. At an intermediate and advanced level, it's about obtaining position so that we can continue to pocket balls. And what I look at is that on every shot, if I throw these balls out there, and we're going to run these in order. On every shot, I have to do two things. I have to create a target on the table that my cue ball must hit for me to get another good shot, and then I must hit it. So, just as an example, on this run, I can see that if I get straight on the 4 ball in the corner, it might be tough to obtain position, but whereas if I have a little angle, it might be better. So my target is over here on the 4. So that's my target, and then my gun is my stop shot. And now, here on the 5 ball, my target might be anywhere from where my tip is here all the way up to here. And the gun I'm going to use now is a stun shot, where I'm going to stun my cue ball kind of down the tangent line. Now, that's as far as I'm going. My point is that there's different targets we have to hit. And there's also different guns that we use to hit those targets. And here's what I mean by that. I look at, there's some guns are better than others. And I measure this with a word I call scatter. And maybe some of you guys have heard this or understand this, but I'm going to demo this. This is actually an idea that I'm kind of coining this idea as far as I'm concerned in the pool instruction world, and I think it's very valuable. Because I want everyone to think about this. Suppose you had a buddy on your league team that couldn't tell the difference between an easy shot and a hard shot. So when they had this shot here, they called it in the corner, and they try to cut this ball down to the corner. Well, maybe it's
You give your first try.
so. Anyway, you would look at him and say, "Well, that was a hell of a shot, but why didn't you play it the side?" Because you'd understand that 9 ball on the side is easier, right? But if they just said, "Well, I mean, it went in both pockets. I don't know. I picked one. I made it. What's the difference?" So that would be kind of weird, right? And here's the question: how would that person ever learn how to play good position if they didn't even understand that there's a difference between hard shots and easy shots? How would they ever learn how to play shape? They can't, because they don't even know what shape is. So when it comes to shot making, we all understand, though, what an easy shot versus a hard shot is. And we have a metric to measure it. We call it make percentage. Oh, I'm 90%, or I'm 70%, or 50%. But with cue ball, with the different cue ball maneuvers that we can use, we don't have a word for it or a measurement for it. And so I've got one I call scatter. And here's the way it works. Suppose I wanted to stop right here on this spot. And let's just suppose that the gun I'm going to use to hit that spot is my stop shot. Well, if I shot this 3 times, I may not stop on the exact same spot every time, but let's take a look. 1, 2, 3. So my scatter was actually about an inch. My cue ball might not have stopped on exactly the same piece of felt, but it was within an inch. So what I would say is my scatter on that gun, that's a 1-inch gun. That's a laser. I'm hitting an inch. Now, suppose I needed to follow. I'm still trying to get back to the spot, but now I'm trying to follow my cue ball to the side rail and maybe even have to use a little bit of left spin. I'm going to shoot this one 3 times. Okay, my first shot stopped about there, 3 inches high. That's about where my second, actually this is a pretty good scatter as well, but it's not as good. That one came a little low, so there, and that one stopped a little short. So my scatter went from here to here, so there's about a hand spin, there's about a 7-8 inch, probably an 8-inch scatter. In other words, if I shot that shot again and again and again, I'm not going to be able to stop at a point, but I'm going to be able to stop at a fairly tight zone. Now, if we compare that to this shot here, where I have to cut this ball in thin and come up, down table to try to get back to the same spot, this one is going to be very difficult to control. Okay, my first shot ended up over here. My second shot only got halfway, not even halfway back up table. And I mean, I think the point's made, but I'll shoot that last shot in. Yeah, I tried real hard on that one, and I stuck one pretty good there. But my scatter was from here to here, and then to here, which means it could have also been to here. So now that's like a 5-foot scatter. Okay, so those are 3 different cue ball maneuvers. Stop shot, follow the rail with a little inside, thin cut, go with 2 rails up and down table, and so 3 different types of cue ball maneuvers. One was able to hit an inch. One was able to hit a handspan. One was very, very large. And so I call scatter. Scatter is the way I measure the accuracy. The gun is the cue ball maneuver. And scatter, it's like, are we shooting a laser? Are we shooting a an accurate gun, or are we shooting a really, really low percent or low accuracy gun? Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So now we've got two ideas. We're creating targets that we need to hit with a cue ball, and then we're also choosing what gun we're shooting. And yesterday when I talked about angle selection, I was talking basically about selecting guns that give us better scatters and how to use angles. So you can watch the one from yesterday. That was really good material for those that are ready for it. So my contention with pool is here's how simple pool is. You will win. Your run will be successful if you can call a pattern to where the size of the target that you create is always equal to or greater than the size, the scatter of the gun that you're shooting at. So I'm going to give you guys an example in the chat. I want to hear from the chat. I'm going to give you guys an example, and I want to see who can tell me where this run is going to break down. Hold on. One second. I need a couple stripes here just to think about this. Okay, suppose I'm playing 8-ball and I'm solids. And let's just say my plan was to shoot the 6-ball, float down for the 5, shoot the 5, float out for the 3 on the side, shoot the 3 on the side and lay up for the 2, and then shoot the 2 and float back for the 8 on this side. I want to hear from the chat, where is that run most likely to break down?
So just to repeat, the order is going to be shooting the 6, lead to the 5, from the 5 to the 3, from the 3 to the 2, and then the 2 to the 8. Where do you think, and this is, the answer should be based on everybody on, where do they think they're going to fail? So we probably can't expect to hear different answers, but there's probably going to be a more common place. So this is from YouTube. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Doug Quora thinks the breakdown is from the 2 to the 8, doing a draw shot. A-Funk also happens to agree from the 2 to the 8. Bob Keller's here, shortstop on pool, happens to think it's the 2 to the 8. Then we have Alicia Gonzalez. I think this is maybe the first time I've seen you here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. She thinks from the 5 to the 2 might be the breakdown. Well, we're going from the 5 to the 3, and then from the 3 to the 2.
Okay, good.
So a lot of people seem to be focusing on the 2 to the 8. That's 100%.
So 100%, because if I shoot the 6, my target that I need to hit to get on the 5 and follow it up with getting on the 3, good, not just good enough to make the 5, but to hit my target on the 3, which means not any farther off the end rail than the 3rd diamond, means I need to be somewhere in this cone. And this shot, the gun that I'm shooting at this target. Now, if I want to get advanced, by the way, people, I can tell you the targets are sometimes twice as big as they look, because you can get this target going in and coming off the end rail, and the rail slows the cue ball down, so it's actually more than twice as big as it looks. But the point is, the gun I'm shooting is a soft roll. The target is big. I know I can hit that target. Next, to get on the 3-ball, my target is anywhere from where my cue is here all the way out to here. I have, again, a huge area of space. And what's my tool? It's a soft roll where I'm only moving a foot or two, so the gun I'm using is plenty accurate to hit that target. For sure, with the 3-ball, I can shoot a stop shot, which is a laser gun, and I hit my target, which is anywhere out in here. So that's a good gun that's a very good gun to a reasonable target. But the draw shot, everyone's right. Everyone that said 2 to the 8, you're all right. The problem is, my target for the 8-ball, I have to get past here, otherwise, I don't want to be shooting a thin cut off the rail or risking a scratch, or I just don't want to be hooked. But I also don't want to come back too far where I'm going to be ticking off the 14 and going at the corner, or maybe missing the 8. So my target really is from like here to here. And the problem is, if I shot this draw shot again and again, there are going to be times where I get perfect, but there might be times I come up short. And because I can't risk that, there's going to be times I come too far. And so that gun, the scatter of my draw shot, is larger than the target that I want to hit on the 8-ball, which is why that's where it's most likely to break down. It's also why when I'm shooting that shot, I'm going to feel more pressure on me and a little bit more nervous. I'm just not going to feel nervous shooting the 6. I'm not going to feel nervous shooting the 5 because I know I can do that. This is the first time, from the 2 to the 8, it's the first time instead of doing something I know I can do, now I'm trying something that I might be able to do. And I don't like pool that way. I like to just do things I know how to do. So, I wasn't planning on this, but what's a good solution? What should I do from here?
Let's see here. I already see some suggestions where this is from A-Funk. He is saying he would shoot the 2 first, then the 6, then the 5,
100%.
then the 3, and then the 8.
Because if we shoot the 2 first, then we have to look at what's the target I need to hit to get on the 6 ball. And I have to make sure I get far enough off the rail I'm not hooked by the 3, which is where my cue is. And then I don't really want to be any thinner than about this. If I end up over by that spot, now it makes the 6 to the 5 a little tougher. But that gives me about 18 inches. And what my gun is it's going to be a little bit of a soft stun. And it turns out that I know that my scatter on a soft stun is plenty good. Watch. Famous last words.
Plenty good. Don't mess up.
Wait, jump to 14.
Pressure's on. Live on YouTube and Facebook.
And yeah, and now this target, now I have a good laser gun to hit my target for the 8. And now the 8 just goes right in that. Wait a second. I'll play it by me. Right? Like the Jason shot. I gotta do the Jason shot. Oh no. All right. I don't think I jumped up quick enough. Okay, so you're right. You're all right. Okay, so the point is, scatter is my metric to define how accurate a cue ball maneuver is. That's my gun. The target is the targets that we create, whether we know we create them or not when we're making our plans. And if we become more aware of the targets we're creating and the guns we're selecting, we can start doing a better job at creating good targets and a better job selecting good guns, which is a lot of what I teach. I tickled it yesterday. I have a set of 10 core shots, the 10 best guns to move your cue ball up and down table. I make sure people know what those shots are, why they're superior in terms of cue ball control, the knowledge of how they work, the techniques on how to hit them, learning where they go and the adjustments to make as they change positions. And then as they develop that toolbox, then we could look at 8-ball racks, 9-ball racks, and then problem racks, learning how to use these maneuvers to create the correct targets, select the correct guns to solve problems more and more often. And we're going to be zooming on that here just in a minute. So I think it's pretty fun. I mean, this is exciting. Okay.
So I have a question that I think, this is from me, that I think will help the viewers understand, because you use the analogy of laser pinpoint, hand span, and then 5 feet scatter patterns. Does that mean that every shot has to be done with a laser?
No, so that's a great question. So I think you can use a bad gun if you have a big target. So if you're playing, say you're playing 8-ball now, and the same gun that I said was a really poor gun, let's just say the 8-ball's here, and this ball is here. Now I have that. I said this was a bad gun. However, let's look at my target that I need to hit for the 8-ball. Once my cue ball crosses this line, I've got this whole half the table where I can make the 8. And as I said, it's twice as big as it looks because I can hit it going in or coming out with the rail as brakes. So even though this is a pretty bad gun, I've got a huge target. It's bigger than the broadside of a barn. And so I can hit that target because it's the big enough target. So you don't always have to use good guns. You have to make sure that when you have a bad gun, that you prepare it, you make sure you're shooting it at a big target. So, ideally, like good guns to big targets. Sometimes if you have to hit a small target, you try to find a way to use a good gun. Sometimes if you have to have a bad gun, there's just no way around it, then you try to find a way to play for a big target. And that's going to be something we're going to see here in just a minute. Cool. Good. So with that, I want to talk about one simple way that we can improve our guns. For people that this is again intermediate advanced. So some of you might have seen this before if you follow me, but most of you haven't. So I want to talk about this shot really quick. This object ball here, the cue ball, is going to be, we're going to look at two different cue ball positions. One is here. So my cut angle, I just want to make sure I'm being fair. There's my shot line. There's my cut angle. So then on the other side of this line, maybe here. So this 14 ball is going to be in the same spot, and we're going to have the same cut angle from two different locations. I'm going to cover this kind of quickly. From here, I want to look at my cue ball options. So the first option I can use is a soft roll, and the softest I can hit this while still making the shot sends me all the way to the side rail over here. So I'm going to put a ball right here because this is the softest I could hit. Now there's no way I could follow the cue ball and hit lower than that. I have too much cut angle. I can't sink through the tangent line enough. So this is the furthest forward of the tangent line I can go, and that's the softest I can hit. A stun shot requires a little bit more cue speed, not much more from this distance. That takes me down the tangent line all the way to the rail and then off a little bit. And then the furthest I can make this ball come backwards is with a draw shot. But because I'm thin, the draw doesn't influence the direction of the cue ball as much. Now here I was able to peel up to just to here, but the speed required for the draw took me way off the rail. Okay, my point though is that from this position, the direction options I had were from here to here, which is kind of a limited range, and I had no way to control my speed to where I couldn't follow towards the 6 and stop here, for example. It simply had too much speed left on the cue. So everybody, burn that into your mind right there. I have basically between these pockets. However, from this side of the pocket, so this side of the 9 ball, I can go with high left spin. I can get down all the way to here. And with low right spin, I can get all the way up to here. Okay? So my range of direction options are much, much, much greater. Furthermore, I just want to point out one other thing, is that I can keep my cue ball fairly close to the rail by using a soft roll like this. I only come a little ways off the rail versus coming all the way across the table. So my direction options are easier. I'm sorry, my speed options are greater, my direction options are way greater, and most of these shots are easier to execute because if I wanted to hit here before I had to use a really difficult draw, here I could just roll with outside or I could stun all the way up to here. I don't really need to be drawing my ball until I have to get to the end rail. It's easier to execute, easier to control my speed, easier to control my direction, and more versatile. So this angle, way better than this one. And I want the audience to tell me, if the shot is in the same spot and the angle's the same on the cut, why does this angle give me so much better control than over there? Who knows? Preferably someone I haven't taught.
So anybody in the chat, why is one angle shot easier than the other? Not just for the make percentage, but also for the cue ball control.
It's a better gun. It's a way better gun. Why is this gun way, way better?
We've got Russian Crush Gaming from YouTube saying it's closer to hitting the rail after contact.
That's my man. And what does that do for me? Why does that change it? You're right, because I'm going into a rail. And what does the rail do for me? The rail has to serve me in some way. You're right, it's the rail. What does the rail do for me?
And it doesn't have to be the same person that answers, but the next question is, what if the cue ball is going into the rail, what benefit are you getting from that?
Do the Jesse Bowman light swing? Who knows? He does this, Chris. He does the Jesse Bowman. He'll watch it on the table. He goes. It's just very fun. Okay.
Okay, let's see here. We've got from Rick Ward. He says broadening the angles. This is from Facebook, so I'm glad to see we got some Facebook viewers. Jonathan Zibble says because you can use the rail for side spin for English.
Bingo. Okay, that's a bingo. That's what we're looking for. So when you use, there's two levers: side spin, backspin. The natural path of the cue ball is a rolling center. There's two levers you can use to change the path of the cue ball: backspin, side spin, and you can use both, one or neither. But backspin, the backspin lever, backspin will take effect. It will start to influence the cue ball direction as soon as it hits the object ball. Or if you shoot really firm, it might slide a couple inches. But essentially, just for simplicity, I'll say that backspin will start influencing the cue ball's path as soon as it strikes the object ball, bringing it back to the table. But side spin doesn't influence the cue ball's path at all effectively. Again, masses and little bits of throw or whatever, but effectively, like in terms of like the macro level, if you will, side spin doesn't really affect anything until the cue ball hits a rail. So on this shot here, the nearest rail is 4 feet away, which means if I'm stunning my cue ball to the side rail, I can change the cue ball's direction with side spin once it hits this rail. But I can't change the cue ball's path before that. It's going to be flying across table regardless. And okay, so whereas with this shot, I'm going into this rail so I can immediately change my cue ball's direction with side spin. And that's why so another way to think about it is when you have those two levers, if you're back cutting a ball, you take that nice lever, that side spin lever, and you just douse the thing with gasoline and light a match. You don't have that lever. And you're down to just the limit of your backspin. And that's bad to just have only the backspin lever. And it's actually, the thinner you get, the worse it is. Because it has less and less influence over the path of the cue ball as you get thinner, and the required speed to keep your ball back spinning on a thin cut. You're just going to leave the cue ball too much speed with not enough control. So, simply, when you play into rails, you unlock side spin as a tool you get to use, which is critical for cue ball control. Everybody with me?
Yep.
Cool. So now, I want to talk about why side pocket shots oftentimes are bad guns. Suppose we have we've been playing some straight ball, so let's talk about this. Here's a spot where we might want to break ball. Do I need to stick to these? I don't need to stick to these. I like to play with stickers, man. They're kind of exciting. It makes me feel 5 again. Back up. Okay. So let's take a look at this here. If we're playing straight ball, this is a good break ball. And this, to the untrained eye, looks like a very good key ball. Because here's what people think. Well, all I got to do is get here, and then look, I got to shoot a stop shot, which is a really good gun, and bam, break ball. And that's true. If you get right here, this is a great key. This is a great key ball. But my question is, what if you get here? Well, this is kind of awkward. I mean, if you soft roll this in and you're ending up shooting your break shot from here, I don't know if that's going to help your confidence. And if you try to stun your cue ball to the end rail and back, the amount of, we talked about moving your ball with stun shots yesterday, your scatter on that gun is not that good. Once in a while, you're going to catch it a little thick or a little low, and you're going to end up bouncing one rail and end up like long and flat. or once in a while you might end up kind of coming up a little short, and if you try to get closer, you might overrun. So it's just, this isn't quite where you want to be on your cue ball. And that's the good side. What have you got here? Well, this is terrible. You know, I mean, now you're going to end up like tying up on the ball or having to stun 2 rails around. It's just not very good. So what I would say is, from here it's a good key ball, but from here or here it's a bad key ball. So the target that you have to hit is very small to make this a good gun. And what makes side pockets kind of deceptive is that the target that you can hit to make it an easy shot, from anywhere out here, the one's an easy shot to pocket. But only in here is it a good gun. From all these spots out here, it's kind of a bad gun. Okay. So what this means is, now I can actually change this into a good key ball by adding another ball here as a key ball for my key ball. So now, if I'm playing straight pool, I can use the 7, which has a laser, to hit this target. And now because I know I can hit the small target for the 1 ball, I know I can make the 1 into a good target, into a good gun. So I know now that I can go 7-1-3 and end up with a good break ball. But if the 7 ball's here and I'm trying to come 1 rail, it's just, it's not going to be a good key ball because the target is. Am I making sense?
Yep.
Okay. So what I've learned about side pocket shots, and I've seen some common blunders, and is that in general, well, I'll show one more. I'll show one more example of why these are kind of tricky guns sometimes. And a lot of good players have heard, you know, careful with side pockets, and good players play for corners and stuff, but they don't really know why. The reason why is because on these side pocket shots, where's the nearest rail? 4.5 feet away. Every side pocket shot like this is like a back cut. It has the same problems as that back cut. You're at the mercy of the tangent line and you're high and low. So we'll stick with an 8-ball example. In this example here, we have to play shape for the 8-ball in this corner. And let's just say our ball, the balls are positioned here, and we want to play solids, and I'm going to take away this side. Okay, so we're playing solids. Suppose somebody told me that their plan was going to be to chip the 7 in and bounce the cue ball over to here, shoot the 6 in this side pocket, and follow their cue ball either this way to the end rail or even off the side rail and then to the end rail for shape of the 8-ball. This is a bad plan. And I want to show you why this is a bad plan. So Chris, for this one, I'm going to ask your help.
Okay.
If the cue ball ended up straight on the 6, it would be very difficult to get shape on the 8 once the 7 ball's gone.
Correct.
So wiggle your cue ball to the left until tell me when you like the angle you have to where you can follow to the side rail and get good shape.
Only about to there.
Okay.
I think I would hit somewhere between here and here.
Okay, that's right there. Now, how much further to the left? Just leave that 12 ball there. How much further, move the cue ball, how much further to the left can your cue ball be where you can still follow to the end rail?
To the end rail or the side rail?
To the end rail. Like I'll let you follow all the way to here. Like what angle allows you to follow all the way to right there?
Probably about there.
Yeah, and even this, you're coming towards here, which means that your speed control would have to be flipped. You actually need to be about there. I mean, it was a wiggle off, I think. There. So, the angle that you need, you have to basically, this is how limited it is. You have to land within a positional zone that's like a sliver. So when you're playing that 7 ball and your plan is to come 1-2 rails, you need to hit a very, 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 very small target for that to work. If you come any further than the 11, you're like rolling towards the wrong side of the pocket. And if you're anywhere on this side, it's death. So that gun is not going to hit that target. That's not a good plan. But people don't know this, so they look at this, they're like, well, I'll just bounce out and follow, because they're thinking about where they want to be. but they're not. But they're playing to a point. They're playing to a laser point, but they don't have a laser gun. So now, what would we actually do? Anything is better than that. Anything at all is better than that. I would never do that. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably shoot the 6. I'd probably zigzag for the corner, so I'm going into a rail somehow. But that's where people don't understand that's an example of where people's runs would break down because those side pocket shots don't have a rail. The targets are very, very limited to have a good gun.
That makes sense.
So that's why that when people not every side pocket's that way. So not every side pocket shot's that way. So here's an example where we're going into the side rail because it's near the pocket and we can go into the rail. So here I wouldn't consider this a bad gun because we could get into that rail. But if this ball's here, now this is no rail nearby. So it all has to do with how easily accessible is the side rail. And so Chris, when we were playing straight pool the last few days, there was a lot of times when there'd be a ball here and there'd be a ball like this, and you'd be like, oh yeah, just get on this, get on the 7 to the side and follow forward. It's like, yeah, that works if we have like I said, if we have a ball there where we can shoot a stop shot and get perfect, that works. But if our plan was to get on this 9 ball and then follow down for the 7 to the side, this is where it's not good because here we're running into the 15 and here we're running up table. And it's a very small target. And so when we were playing a lot of those times when you're like, oh, play that ball aside for a key ball, a lot of times that's why. I just wanted to explain why I was shying away from that.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay. So, all right, let me take one deep breath, regroup, make sure I'm refocused here. So we've talked a little bit about rails, unlock side spin, and how that improves the accuracy of your gun. As a general rule, here's what I found. You either want something easy to get on the ball on the side or to get off the ball in the side. So for example, if we're playing 8-ball, we'll use this example again. If I wanted to play the 12 on the side and then stop for the 8 in the corner, I can do that in this case because I have something easy beforehand, a laser gun, to get me on it correctly. Now, the other option would be if I have something easy afterwards. So here's an example where if my last 3 balls are like this, now I'm going to play the 15 and come up for the 12 on the side. It's unlikely now that I'm going to get a good gun on the 12 because I'm not able to laser hit that tiny target. I'm likely to stop here or here and end up with a worse gun. But look at the ball after that. Anywhere on this end of the table, I have position for the 8-ball. So now I have an easy shot afterwards to get me off the ball in the side pocket. So, I got balls in my other hand here. So if I lay that ball in, I'm kind of like, I'll do it. I just do it like air style, like a real man. Okay. Anyway, so I have an easy target afterwards to get me off the ball on the side. So that's when I have a ball that's kind of in the middle and the side pocket. I look for something either easy beforehand to get me on it really good, or if I can't get on it really good, something with a big target afterwards. So either something good ahead of time so I can make it into a good gun, or a big target afterwards to make sure I have a big target I'm playing to afterwards. Anyway, just something I've noticed I wanted to tell you. So.
Nope, that makes sense. Everybody in the chat, let us know if you understood all that. Give us some thumbs up in the chats or whatever your favorite emoji is. Let's show Demetrius our appreciation for his knowledge that he's given us.
All right. So with that in mind, we're going to get Chris back to work here in a second. And we're going to be talking about our 3-time drill. And I should tell why and what we're working on with this. So I came up with this drill because I had a student I was working with one time that kept trying things that just weren't very high percentage. They were very exceptional cue ball maneuvers. And he would insist that they were right and that he ought to be able to do them. And so he'd shoot it the first time and his cue ball would end up hooked. And so he'd get mad, he'd set it up again and say, I know I can do that. And so then he'd shoot it the second time. And this time the object ball would rattle because he's trying to force the cue ball. And so he'd set it up again, and the third time he'd shoot it, and it got perfect. And he'd look at me and say, see, I could do that. And I love the man, by the way, but I'm just like, 1 in 3, man. You're 1 in 3. 1 in 3 just isn't good enough. You don't get 3 tries. And so I went to bed that night, and in the middle of the night, I had an idea. I woke up and I wrote down an idea. And the next morning, I looked at it, and I was like, ooh, this isn't bad. And so what it is I've never played a round of golf in my life, but I hear some people play, when they play doubles, they play like best ball. Mm-hmm. They both shoot, and whatever the best ball is, they both play from there. Anyway, I decided to come up with the worst ball. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a 6-ball run. And it's going to have to be something fairly easy for this drill. It's a very challenging one. But we're going to play, each shot has to be struck 3 times. And look at your cue ball scatter, and I get to pick the worst of the 3 cue ball positions. And then you have to play from the worst of those positions. And then shoot the next shot 3 times. And play from the worst of those. Because the only way to run through 6 balls with a 3-time drill is your scatters have to be good enough to where all three parts of your scatter have to be reasonable. And if you're playing to where it's like, I'm trying to get there and sometimes I don't, this drill will, if you're shooting the wrong guns at the wrong targets, this drill will expose it. And I should mention why I don't always practice this, but this is one of the reasons I like working on a specific layout again and again, is if a musician wanted to learn a musical instrument and they just printed out 100 pieces of sheet music, looked at the first one and tried to play through it at real speed, missed every note, and then crumpled it up and threw it away and never looked at it again. Are they learning?
Right.
I feel like when people play and they're trying to run out, it's like sometimes they stumble through a rack, sometimes they don't. Are they really learning it? I like to do it where you break down each note, break down each measure, understand how to play one song correctly, and then little by little, I feel that's going to make you a better musician. So I like to do that with my pool runs as well. So I want to just see if I get an interesting layout. Well, that's a little tough. I don't want a cluster, but I do want an interesting layout. Now this is probably going to be too tough for the 3-time drill, but it's a very, maybe not, maybe we can do this. Let's try it. So what I'm going to do is sticker these up. And what has to happen is this is going to be a real test of his ability to create targets and select guns that will hit those targets. Because if the guns don't match the targets, this will expose it. So he's going to start with ball in hand and then try to run these balls in order. All right, this isn't actually so bad. This isn't so bad. So, let the fun and games begin.
So I'm going to shoot the 4-ball 4 times?
3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
It's not the 4-time drill.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I know I know once we get past 2, it gets a little confusing for you. But.
This is where, because everybody knows that I go back and rewatch all my streams, so let me know like how I should be playing every one of the shots. Like, how would you play from the 4 to the 5? I know everybody's thinking about maybe I should do a stop shot because I can laser pinpoint that, but am I going to be able to laser pinpoint from the 5 to the 6? So that's the only reason why I haven't committed to playing a stop shot on the 5 just yet. It's certainly an option. I'm committed to actually this. And I think I can keep my scatter pretty good. Don't I need to mark my cue ball?
Oh, I got it. You get to pick ball in hand, you get to pick the first one.
Right, but if I shoot from here...
You can just set it up. We know. I mean,
okay.
It's fine. I'm pretty... I'm a generous instructor. Normally I have like a tin of the spots at home. That's what I usually use. Don't use coins. Coins will get in the way of the cue ball stand. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where I think the worst one is. Oh, I gotta put a dot down where I think the worst one is. Not a terrible shot, but I think. Let's see. You know what? This is a tough choice because they're all pretty. That when I have to think, Chris, that means you did okay. But I think this one.
Okay. This is the only reason why I chose the shot that I chose, because unless I dramatically got it wrong, I have the 6 in both pockets. So if you give me one of those, I'm going to that pocket for the 5 and playing the 6 over there. But this one here, I'm most likely stunning out over here. So let me look at the 6 to the 7. I'm going to want to have somewhere over here where I can go. I just don't want to get frozen to the rail because that's exactly what you're going to give me if I land that.
It's Christmas time. You never know.
Or should we talked about stuns. Stuns are hard to control. Maybe I should 2-rail this. Short rail, long rail to get my cut angle. That's not what I want. And I can already tell y'all right now, that's probably what he's going to give me.
I'm licking my chops over here.
Because maneuvering from there, from the 6 to the 7, is going to be hard. So chances are that instantly should show me that I probably played the shot wrong. I probably should have done this, even though I'm not going to get this as an option. So immediately y'all should understand the benefits of doing this drill. Because around here is what I wanted to get, but 2 rails. But I'm not going to get this option. I already know what option I'm getting.
Deck the halls with balls of okay. There you
go. Okay. So this is what this is what obviously happens from time to time on a run, where you don't get exactly what you want. So like Demetrius said, if I can just choose the right gun to where I can get myself back in line. How would y'all play this? Would y'all try to stun all the way out there? Or would y'all try to draw into this rail and draw back out?
Good shot.
That's probably the gun I'm going to end up choosing. All because of where the 8's at. I don't care if I'm straight in on 7.
Right. And that's a big deal if this pattern had played where, if that 8, but then that would have been probably too tough for the 3-time drill if that 8 ball was sitting tougher. Oh, you're off the dot a little bit.
Sorry.
Good shot. This sticker off.
Yep.
I'll put it right here.
Look and see. Yeah, like I don't necessarily have to do anything with this layout. So I'm not gonna try to complicate things.
I'm going to push you right there.
Okay.
It's a hair further off the rails, so just a hair thinner. I think that's. you heard it. I'll let you shoot it in 3 times from right here. Just set up here. We're good.
Yep.
Right there.
As long as I don't miscue, I should be fine. Oh gosh, I remember the very first time you took me through this in Minnesota, and it was difficult for me to complete.
All right, hey, sure.
Thank you.
So, what I will say is, Chris did it, which is a very good display of good shooting. Clearly, the RPMs were high. Like, it was obviously difficult. Like, we could see it took a real difficult shot on the 78, or whatever, 6 to the 7, whatever that was. And then even still, having to lay this ball in and leave it near the rail, that shot's missable. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? And then furthermore, let's consider 3 different things. Suppose that 8 ball hadn't been here. Suppose that 8 ball had been here. Or suppose that we'd been on a 9-foot table with a little bit tighter pockets. Or suppose we'd been playing in a tournament match and he was down 5-3 and he'd been struggling and he's under pressure. Any of those situations, that shot, it's not always going to work, and that 8 ball is going to be missed sometimes. That draw shot's not always going to work. So we can see, I'm not trying to he beat the 3-time drill, so therefore I'm mad and I'm going to try to it's like not that. I think we can see that it was difficult the way it went down. So when I look at this, what I see, which one is the key transition, Chris? There's kind of one key transition in this rack.
I actually just felt that it was the 6 to the 7.
100%, right? So the way I teach, and I haven't taught all this, I haven't taught all you guys, but I'm just talking to Chris now because I've worked with him. So what I teach is, once you have a key transition, that we have to identify the target that we need to hit with the cue ball. And we always are trying to hit targets, but when we have a key transition, it becomes a super high priority to hit this target. And so the target is, the thinnest we really want to be would be, let's see.
Let me ask one quick question, just to have your opinion though, because did you agree with my choice on this?
No, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Right.
And here's why, is because my target for the 6, I don't want to be this flat, and I don't want to be any thinner than this. So my target is really out kind of between, if I come off the rail a little ways, it's a little bit off the rail in front of the second diamond, like here, all the way up to about where the cue ball's like here. And it's if I end up on the rail up in here, it's okay. So kind of like this hand span here, and then out in this area. This is kind of the target I'm looking to achieve. So how do we get there? I don't really like getting straight on the 5 and trying to roll up short side. There's angles here on the 5. Here's the problem with this. I have OCD when it comes to controlling my angles. So if we get a little bit, suppose you got on the 5 ball. There's an angle on the 5 ball you can get, Chris, that's right here. Come take a look at this angle. Where you're too full to stun over,
right?
But you're rolling. You're not rolling at the 8. You're kind of rolling this way.
Yep.
And on this line, it's really hard to control the angle of pivot. So I don't like this angle, and I'd be afraid of getting it. Now, even if you got this angle here, well, now you're at a spot where you're rolling up and you're going to be frozen on the rail, or you're going to bounce off the rail. And this isn't so bad. And then the back cut, again, if you end up with a back cut like this for some reason, this isn't so bad. But I just generally don't like back cuts for the reasons we talked about. I don't have the rail. So instead of trying to draw to the rail and out, and here's the part. When I have a key transition, I create a target for that key transition. And I feel that the name of the game is hitting that target with a cue ball. So I don't think of this as 9 ball. I don't think of it as, can I run the table? Because if the question, and I want the chat to think about this. Suppose I said to Chris, you get ball in hand. I want you to shoot the 4, 5, 6. And if you successfully pocket the 6, you get ball in hand a second time. And then you have to shoot the 7, 8, 9. Chris might be able to do that 10 times in a row. Maybe 20. I mean, it's almost always you can make the 4, 5, 6. And then if you got second ball in hand, you can almost always make the 7, 8, 9. So we know he could run 6 balls, and we know he can get on the 5, and we know he can get on the 6, and we know if he gets on the 7, he can get on the 8 and get on the 9. The question is none of that. The question is, can he get from the 6 to the 7? And so that really becomes, here's the target that maximizes his chances of doing that. So the name of the game isn't, can I run the table? The name of the game is, can I hit my key transition target right out here? So what gun do we want to hit this target out here? And you could say, I want to come here for a back cut, but we don't know what kind of back cut angle we get. There's some funny flat angles in here. I want to be, look at the target on the other side of the ball. What we just talked about, where we're playing into a rail.
Yep.
The thinnest I could be, if I got here on a 5 ball, I'm still okay. I can ease this in and come 1, 2 rails out. And then even if I'm way out here, I can just float this in 1 rail and come out. So there's a huge area, huge target way out here. And where I'm going into the rail, and I have total confidence that I can hit my key transition target. So I'll try it. And again, it's tough to do. Now what I'm doing is I'm making the 4 ball and the 5 ball more difficult to pocket. So what I'm going to do is take this gun here, it looks like, and I'm drawing a line in my mind. I'm saying, what is my target now for this is what I call the lead ball. This is my gun. I'm fighting for the best gun to hit my key transition target. I don't want to be any thicker than this. I don't want to be any thinner than this. So I'm looking at like kind of this area in here, kind of in the middle of the table. And by the way, I know what some of you are thinking is, well, I'm choosing a side pocket shot. Isn't that a bad gun? But remember, I said if you have a good, it's a good gun if you get perfect on it. And since I have ball in hand, I can get perfect on this ball on the side. I would never play shape for this 4 on the side like this, but with ball in hand, ha ha ha. And what you guys will see is I know what angle I'm going to get on this 5 ball. There's just no question about like what am I going to end up with. And for me, when you're coming into hitting the key transition target, that's crucial. So all 3 of those are pretty much the same angle, are they not?
Roughly.
Where do you want me, Chris?
I'm going to want you on this one here because it's the flattest angle.
Perfect. All right. I got really poor there, huh? Well, that's actually not the end of the world, and that's probably as bad as I'm gonna hit it. Hopefully that's as bad as I'm gonna hit it. Famous last words. Nope, I'm gonna get there again.
Trust me, fellas, if he gets a flat angle, I'm going to give it to him.
Well, I'm not gonna get a flat angle. I'm gonna be on the rail, but at least I'm gonna have an angle.
Oh, right.
Just hit this a little bit for. Just hit this a little bit for. It's hard. It's hard out here, man, on the tour. That's where I want it. All right, where do you want me? A little flatter or a little closer to the rail? I know I'm not getting that spot.
I think you have to kind of punch the ball from there. Still doable, but I think it's the hardest to maneuver.
It's pretty weak. See what you're up to.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta try, man. You gotta try. You can take Chris out of the pool hall. You can't take the pool hall out of Chris. That's what we're looking for. Just that little. Remember, everybody, the difference between try and triumph It's just a little oomph. Sorry. It's top shelf right there.
It really doesn't matter at this
It's got to
point.
be the thin one, the long thin
It's
one.
going to be the long thin
For
one.
sure. This shot here is probably the worst, and it is, this is not ideal. I would have liked the other two better, but this is the 3 times drill, everybody. It's not for the weak of heart. Now, what I want people to notice is my scatter. My scatter's pretty good the whole way through here.
At this point, it really doesn't matter which
now,
one I give you.
This is a formality, but we'll finish it off. But what I want people to also recognize is, for people that watched and understood any of what we talked about yesterday, let me look at the guns I used. I used a soft roll on the 4, a roll on the 5, a roll on the 6, a roll on the 7, a roll on the 8. Not once if I hit below center. So, good angle management. 9 ball's about angle management. That's all I'm saying.
So I really like the point of what you just made, though, about not hitting below center on any of the shots.
Yeah, because you had to use a draw shot to a stun shot to a, and then of course one of them. And is that
Right.
3? That's only 2.
No, that's
I mean,
3. That's
okay,
3.
okay.
It doesn't matter which one. So
Okay, let me
you're pretty
just
much at the middle of the table.
All right. Okay, shoot, Chris. So why don't you try it the way I just did it, Chris?
Sure.
I want you to because we were talking about angle management, and you and I have talked about creating huge priorities around creating and hitting key transition targets and gaining the right gun. And I think this is exactly what I want to work with you personally on. I think you're a hell of a player, and if we can massage a little bit, just this is really. I wouldn't want to play it, man. That's all I'm saying. In a tournament, I wouldn't. You get this stuff going, people are going to start fearing little Chris.
Okay.
So roughly speaking, the line that you have to cross, once you get across this line here, you're golden. So just past, middle of the table or just past. Yep. Make sure you get all the way there. Yep. Okay, a little thin, but it might be doable. Sank through a little much. You might have said a little thing, but this isn't the end of the world, by the way. And the whole reason we're going this way, because this is the wide part of the zone. You know that.
Right.
Wide part of the zone. We don't want to be coming up short. Yeah, like that. That's really nice. That's really nice. So this is by far the hardest spot, just because it's thin. So I'll get a new spot here. But what's nice is you're using a rolling center ball. That's right here. Okay, and you try to twist it with inside,
Yep.
but then, of course, you wouldn't have been this full had you not overcut it, so that's fine. Let's try it again. I think that the first shot just got a little shy on you, so let's try it again. That's a really good line. I think picking the right line is critical. That line you picked, you have a huge landing strip where you're never too thin, you're never too full, but you have a pretty good range in terms of speed. Yeah. Give me the money.
I got it.
Careful, man. The IRS is going to eat you up once you make all those big cash deposits from running out so many tournaments. Okay, these are really good, Chris. Really good job. These are all good shots. Like I don't have a worse shot. I think this is the hardest just in terms of the distance, but the angle is so good that it's just hard to consider this. Like I like this position. That's why we play it this way. I like it here.
Good hit.
Okay, so you were trying to twist it with inside. I mean, that's okay.
Do I just not need the side spin?
Try center from there.
All right.
I mean, you're going to be a little thinner, but if you just lay it and bump the rail, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know that you need much. Like, I think that's.
Okay.
I think we're playing it there so that we can use center ball. So I'm just going to put you right where you were because we're just yeah. And this shot is tough enough. We don't want to really make it much tougher. Yeah, I mean, this is great. This is great. I'm just gonna have you shoot from here. Like this is like they're all good, you know. And even if you get on the rail, you have the perfect angle to where, like this is just all you've got to do now is just float past the side pocket line, try to make it the third diamond or the kitchen. Third diamond is fine. Yeah, I mean, how strong is this?
Yeah. I was complicating one shot when I didn't have to.
And that one was kind of weak. You decelerated. Try it. So of course, if we were training at my house, we had 3 days. He'd be starting over, but. And even that's not bad. I mean, you just gotta make it because the 8's hanging, but I don't know. Try a couple more of these. Just hit this ball. I just want to see you hit this good 3 times. Just hit it good 3 times. That's it. All you gotta do is just make sure you're accelerating when you hit it and you're not catching the absolute thickest part of the pocket. That's all. Yep. 2 more. I just want to see 2 more. Nice. 1 more. Yeah, totally fine. Got up the old PK rush and decided to take it all the way back. All right, we're gonna call it good on this pattern. The main idea, I hope the main idea, I don't even need to repeat it. I hope that it's so obvious that, but Chris, this is what I want to see from you when you play pool.
Okay.
When there are key transitions, I want you to prioritize creating and then hitting that key transition target, and that means selecting a gun that will hit that target with the highest percentage and making sure you know what gun you're going to get and that it's going to be a good gun. This draw shot wrapping around the ball, you did not know what angle you were going to get or what gun you were going to end up with. And to me, the name of the game, I know you can run 6 balls. The name of the game is hitting that target, and you don't even know what gun you're going to have. To me, that's not going to, like, I'm not, like, and I'm not mad. I'm not, like, critical. I want you to see it because I want you to play the highest level you can play. That's all.
Yep. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Questions or comments in the chat?
Let's see here. Okay, so this I'm going to highlight the question because it was already answered. This is, what do you do if you miss one of the balls? Do you start over or do you play from 2%? You would end up starting all the way back over.
Yeah.
So I would most likely suggest, though, because can everybody run 6 balls?
No.
Probably not. So there's nothing wrong with doing the 3 times drill with 3 balls. There's nothing wrong with doing the 3 times drill with 4 balls. Now, whatever you're comfortable with to give you a measurement of success and then progressively get harder and harder and harder.
There are things to where if you there are runs that are so difficult you can't do it with the 3-time drill. It's just not feasible for anybody. And also, if you don't have the tools to do a certain run, then you might not be able to do the 3-time drill or even run. I mean, so you have to stick within your weight class. I remember a funny story. I showed this to Danny Olson. He's a pro player from South Dakota. And I don't think either I didn't specify that I do 6-ball ghost or he didn't remember. Because I saw him at the next tournament. He's like, that 3-time drill is tough. I tried that for 3 days. I think I only ran the table twice. And I'm like, whoa, full rack? You were doing that like full rack 10-ball? Wow. so I don't. It was funny to hear that. Like, yeah, it's pretty tough, Danny.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine trying to do the 3 times drill with a full 10-ball rack, let alone maybe even a full 9-ball rack.
And what I found is that it turns sidewalks into balance beams. It turns balance beams into tight ropes. And it turns tight ropes into just not doable. And so it really forces you to find routes through to where you have good scatter the whole way, and the scatters are always hitting the targets. Okay, that's the 3-time drill. I just wanted to show it. This is one of my secret weapons for pattern play.
Anybody have any questions on the 3 times drill, or just questions in general? Because that what we just did there is pretty much the heart of the stream. Because from here on out, we can probably just do some more straight pull, do some more Scotch level straight pull, or do some Q&A. It's kind of just ad lib until we have to go for the evening. But I'm already seeing a bunch of feedback saying they absolutely love this idea. And the best thing about I think this drill is having that partner, because your partner has to choose the worst position of your 3 attempts. Now, of course, you can challenge yourself, and hopefully you would challenge yourself by giving yourself the worst position, but you'd also want to get through the drill, so you might end up accidentally giving yourself the easiest position.
And too often, people by themselves, they hit one bad shot, and they're like, oh, give me a mulligan, or I just lost focus, or I normally wouldn't do that. But it's like, here's the thing, is this represents 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Hang on. 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, 6, 7, 29. I don't know, 2,200. It represents like thousands of runouts or something. And if you can get through with the worst of each one, that basically means you're almost 100% to run those balls out that way.
Right.
Whereas if you can't run them out like this, and only 2 of your shots work, that means that every time you get that run, you have to kind of get a little lucky to hit the good part of your range to where you stumble through it. And that might work on your good days, but it's not going to hold up. People always want to run out consistently. This will really show you. If you can do this, then you know that you can run out.
Nope, I agree.
I think we should just play a little 6-ball ghost. Let's play a few games against just the Scotch double 6-ball ghost.
Okay.
Let's just. We're not going to 3-time them. We're just going to talk about angle selection and make sure we're running. Let's just play a few racks. We'll play a quick race to 5 against the 6-ball ghost.
Okay.
We'll take turns going first. I'll go first. So here, there is no key transition. This is kind of a tap them in, stay awake. We just got to stay awake. So I'll just use my little move angle.
One complex shot to make the rest of the shots easier.
Yeah, and here I kind of like rolling down and giving me a move angle, like down here somewhere, and I can just Z it out. I don't see any reason to force me to stun it back. Like here I got this maybe stun it out, which is fine. Once in a while that might get away from me though. If you got me down further where I can roll it with outside and Z it, you know what I mean? This is just...
Yep.
All right, and I'm just going to clarify. So for those that didn't see that part of the stream yesterday, again, not for beginners, be warned, but for Chris, he's not a beginner. Like, what if you were playing at a tournament and you got that stun out angle and you came a little further than that, and then slow rolled that ball and it skidded or hung it thick, or you ended up overrunning that and tying up funny on the 8 and settling for a weird shot in the 9, like, all because, yeah, it's like, well, I should have hit the stun shot better, but it's like, yeah, but if you roll down to here, I could roll that ball and I'm always going to get like 100% of the time.
Nope, so, I get it.
So that's exactly what, when I'm working with you, that is what I'm looking for. That for you, my friend, is exactly what I want to work on. Okay. All right, 3 ball comes down. You're up first, and we're up 1-0. All right. This one's interesting. What do you think? The 8 ball is really awkward. If the 8 wasn't there, we'd play to come 1 rail across. But with that 8 ball there, it kind of takes away that gun.
Yeah.
So we might have to play for a back cut.
That's what I'm looking at, leaving you so you can try to float up in between here.
So then it's really, really important we don't get flat on that ball. Is there anything we're missing? Anything better? I don't think there's anything better than that. So we just have to make sure we get across the shot line. So yeah, you're using a good gun. So we're playing to a small target, but he's using a good gun, which is a rolling ball. Yep, good shot. And this run is a tough run for that reason. It's because we had to really make sure. Okay, well, I'm not going to complain. I made the ball.
Makes it easier.
Yeah, good. You know, I made the ball. Okay.
I wish I didn't do that.
I wish I had some outside on that ball, right? So that we had a move angle. Because as it is, we got a hold angle. But because of that, let me just think for a minute. I was thinking about just stopping you here. You're shooting this in with a tip outside. I'm trying to figure out how far you'd have to come back. You'd have to make sure you cross this line, and that brings the side pockets into play. So maybe I will draw this back so that you can draw it up the rail. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Chris has called it, so he's not letting me beat him to the punch. But because he got straight, I got a hold angle when I need to move. It requires draw, and now we got a hold angle when we need to move, and he's got to be elevated, drawing this ball back and making sure he gets past the 9. And that's going to happen. No, it's going to happen. So let's just, for the audience, let's play this correctly, and we'll see why these things matter. Show me the 6-7. These things matter, guys. These things matter. Here's the 7 ball was here. 6 ball was here. I ran into the 8 ball. So now he's going to put a tip of left on there and play me so I have an angle on the 7.
Because all I did was top spin when I shot this.
There. And just by putting that twist of outside and keeping an angle, now I have a move angle, and now I can come across table for a move angle on the 8. Different ways to do it. Do inside.
Fancy.
And now he's got a move angle on the 8, and everything's curtains. And hang on. There's got to be some.
You need to Z kick it?
Oh, I hit the point. Okay. Hey! Cut backwards! Okay, it's 1-1. We're going to 5.
Okay.
But these things matter. And that shot on the 8 ball, it's too easy to be like, oh, I would have done that in a real game. But it's like, no, I've watched too many real games. I've played too many people and won too many matches because of this stuff. Okay. 3 ball comes down. I'm kicking off. It's 1-1. So here the key transition is clearly the 5 to the 6. The 9 ball's a little bit in the way of the 2-railer, but that's probably, I don't, the other thing I could do is come way down to here and try to Z up table, but I'm using a bad gun. I don't know what angle exactly. I think I just got to play out to here.
Give me a 2, possibly 3-railer?
Yeah, and I think that we just pretend the 9 isn't there. Oh, I got you a little bad there. Sorry, man. Just go 2 rails. 2 rails. Almost no spin. Just a whisk of outside to beat the side, and we're good. Just like that. We'll get there. Yeah, Good shot, Chris. I played a pretty bad shot. Now I got a nice move angle here. Now the 8 to the 9 is we're going to require an angle, and it's not easy because the high inside 3-railer is no good. Can't get in between it. Don't want to play short side. Can't play for this small of a target. So that means we might have to use low outside off the 8. Unless we get right on the rail, maybe we can follow one rail out. So maybe that's with the 7 ball there. Maybe that's our plan. So the best way to do that is not to come down here and draw it up the rail. The best way to do it is to get out here where you can roll it up the rail. Yep. So I'm going to play this A in the middle. And then you can just knit this in and leave me on the rail. Yep. Maybe a CJ Wiley touch it inside. Perfect. Now this is a little thick, so it breaks the rules I was talking about, but I don't have to stun it. I'm able to roll it, and that's why that was acceptable there. Good shooting. That was a big deal, man. A lot of people would see. So what happens with most people in that rack, and this is like, why do I win tournament matches sometimes? It's not because I shoot so good. It's because what most people see is, oh, everything's hanging. So once they got on that 6 ball, right? They made the 5 ball and went 2 rails of the table to get on that 6. They'd be like, oh, everything's hanging, and they'd start just shooting balls in, and they wouldn't even recognize their danger until they got funny on the 8 ball. Because they'd get funny on the 7 and stun out and get flat on the 8, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this got tough. So it's like, just by being aware of this. So we're 2 to 1, you go first. All right, lowest ball comes down, you're shooting the 3 ball, and we might have to, what do you think, play a combo? Or a carom off the, does that ball carom? But then we have no idea where that ball's going.
I'm liking the combo, knowing that the 3 ball's also going to go
100% agree with you, yeah.
And that's what I can at least try to play position for.
Good shot. And I can't, you can't really fault this. This is just, he made a good shot. What are you going to do? Now here is tough because that 9 ball is really in play. So I might even play for the 4 in the same pocket. Just because, I don't know how else
I actually wanted the 3 ball to roll right there.
Sure, yeah. It's just, at least it didn't roll here. You know what I
mean? Right.
Maybe not. Maybe I can come to here. Let me just feel this out. As long as I can get to the second diamond. Okay, I'll do that. Center ball roll.
What a shot.
Now, here's one where if you can kill me where I don't get to the shot line. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, maybe you can't do that though. I don't know. That's okay. The priority's making the ball here. There's exceptions to every rule. Good shot, Chris. Right, so what he did is he had a little bit of backspin left at impact to make sure instead of that, if he'd come off the rail to here, I'd be really flat. Come take a look at this, Chris. Suppose you stung out the right where my tip is. It's just not as pretty, right?
It's almost a straight-in shot. You have to punch it over here just to get it to come back out.
And the pocket and force it. But now, because he just put a little care to that. Now look at how easy this is. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to leave him straight on the 8. Okay, I could have come further than that. But you can play me for the same pocket. But anyway, my point is that I'm really pleased to see that little bit, that little thing. All right, 3 to 1. 3 to 1. So for people who come train with me, I go through, like I said, I teach them these core shots, I teach them how to hit them and all the stuff that goes into them. But then we do things like the 3-time drill, we do things like Scotch doubles, we break down, sometimes we sticker up patterns and just break down angles and work over. So we're, yeah, and I'll meet you at your level. So anyway, all right, I'm first. So getting on the 5 ball. Getting on the 5 ball is really critical here, huh?
Yep.
And that 8 ball really makes this tough, doesn't it? Kind of. So I'm going to break every rule knowing to pull.
You're going to bump the 8.
I'm going to break every single rule knowing to pull. Yep. Kick the 8 out of the way so it's near the pocket, and now we have a huge target to hit.
Yep.
All right. And this is one where I don't sweat it too much, Chris. If you use high with a twisted inside and just try to float out, if you pick up an angle, great. If I have to draw it back, we're still friends. Good shot. And this is exactly
This is more what I was worried about. Should I do that, or should I bother getting you over here?
There's exceptions to every rule. So in order to, the problem is, if the gun needed to get to a rolling angle on the 8, the target needed would be here to here. The gun that you're using is not accurate enough to hit this target. So if you try to hit this target, you risk coming to here.
Okay.
So the only way to get to here for sure, crossing this line, is to use a gun where you risk going too far. So then you can't use that gun to that target. So then you have to make some decisions. And one of the decisions is, do we play to a different target? Do we accept that we might get flat on this ball? And that's where there's exceptions. That's where the nuance and the beauty of the art. That's why this is an art, not a science.
That's fair.
Hey-o! So that's 4-1. You're going to be shooting the first.
So, Demetrius, I just want you to know that there is a, I don't know if this is the person's real name, but on YouTube he goes by Marshall Demos or Demois. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It says he's look forward to working with you in March.
Yeah. So some of this will be reviewed when you get out there, but that's okay. Trust me, this is the tip of a very, very deep iceberg. This thing could sink 2 Titanics, this iceberg. Okay. Does the 5.8 go?
Yeah, the 5.8 goes. That's the first thing I was looking at was we're playing a combo.
All right, so we want to get good on the 5.8. So we want to be really good on this ball on the side because we know this is a touchy gun. So what's the best gun to get me on this ball out here? If you put the cue ball here and try to draw it up the rail, you're fired. But if you put the cue ball here and follow one rail to the wide part of the positional zone, then
just so everybody knows, I'm fired because that's exactly what I was thinking of.
It's just we got to use a rolling ball and we want to come to the wide part of the zone. Yeah.
And to be fair, I think Demetrius remembers when I first went to him to Minnesota, he already knows that I stun a lot.
Chris has really developed his guns. He's using more move angles. He's using more finesse and less power. I'm just trying to keep that going. And look at this. Not bad. So now we're going to be happy. So here's what I like. If we got to where you're straight, it's really tough because then you have to, I don't know, man. Maybe that's best. I kind of like, it's tough either way. Maybe that is best. Okay. I think we just do everything we can to make the ball. And if we end up with a 5.9 or whatever we end up with, it's just tough.
5's going over here.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about it. I think you just try to make this one. There's a time and place to fiddle around. This ain't it. 100% right. And I can make the 9, I can make the 5, I can make the 7 if I wanted to. I can do whatever. Okay, I'll shoot the 9. I think that's the right shot here. Oh!
Not quite.
Look at the two-way shot. Look at that sleeve. Wouldn't that be sick to do to somebody?
All right, then.
Oh.
Let me see.
Oh! Oh!
Hey, I just lost the game.
Hang on. Okay.
So 4-2.
4-2. Not bad. Dog that carom a little bit, but that was a tough rack. I look at it this way: if those are the racks I lose are the ones where there's like combos, caroms, and weird breakouts, then I don't really care. I just don't want to be losing.
Actually, it was. Does it matter if I start again or?
Yeah. Go ahead then. You go ahead. No, you started last time. You shot the follow shot. Nice try. Okay, so now I've got to get. There's a lot of transitions. The 6 to the 7 is very critical. That's the key transition, which means, and we've got a bad gun. This ball on the side is a bad gun. So it's very important. When we have a very small target we have to hit out here on the 6, and we have a bad gun to get there. So it's very, very, very important how we play these first few shots. We either have to make sure we get really good on the 5, which, how do I make sure of that? What am I going to draw the ball up table? That's no good. Or, play for the short side, but that's no good. I could play this side. I don't know. I don't think any of that makes sense. I think we're going to have to accept the fact that we might end up on this side of the ball where we have to curl down to the end rail and back up and take, this is a little bit tough because of that. And this is one where I don't have that follow shot available, or do I? Maybe I do. Okay. I do have the follow shot. So I'm drawing my target. I have to cross this line. So I need to get to the side pocket line. And even though we're not straight, it's not bad. Now, can you get me down towards the rack area down here?
Sure. Or I can try.
There you go. And if I'm too long and thin to stun back on my side, I can always play short side, which is probably from here. It's pretty close. I might still stun this.
What a shot. Two.
Good shooting, man. Good shooting. All right, very clean, man. Very clean. I hope that was good as far as illustrating how some of these ideas come together. I mean, I don't expect everyone to understand all of that. That's why I do 3 days, not 2 hours. But yeah, whatever.
All right, cool. So,
Demetrius, is that good?
Do you have anything else you wanted to cover?
I think we should do one more kick game. I can recap the rules more cleanly, and I think we should do one more kick game, and then we can take requests and maybe do some other fun stuff. To just whatever you want.
Okay, cool. So if anybody that was here yesterday, Demetrius showed me this kick game where he annihilated me in the kick game, and now I think I have a better understanding of it. But like you said, he'll go ahead and try to explain the rules. This is going. I think everybody's gonna like this. This is a fun game to work on your kicks. When you listen to the rules, of course, you can make some tweaks to it, but just hear it out.
All right. The kick game is based loosely on the idea of the basketball game horse, where you have to shoot a shot and then your opponent has to match you or they lose a point. That's kind of what this is based on. It's a fun way to practice kicks as opposed to setting up kicks and just kind of grinding. The way it works is there's two players. You've got one person who's kind of the leader, or the person who's on the serve, kind of like in a game of horse. The first guy gets to pick, what shot or shoot or whatever. The first guy is on, I call it on serve. He's the guy that's on offense. The other guy is the guy trying to match that. So, what you have to do, the first player has to kick and contact the object ball. One rail or more. So, player one has to kick and contact the 9, like for example this. Now, if they contact the 9, now the other player has to match that. They have to then kick one rail or more and hit the 9. If they do, the game continues, but if they fail, if player 2 kicks and misses this ball, the first player scores a point because they did something the other guy didn't match. Now
is rail contact required?
So there's no contact for rail contact after collision. I'll explain why. But it's not a game of 9 ball where you have to make a good contact to a rail afterwards. We're just playing snooker rules. You have to just hit the ball. So now the second player is going to match, and he's going to make the contact here. Okay? So now it's the first player's shot again, but he's still on serve. But now he's got to make a 2-railer
or more
to try to keep the pressure, or to try to score. So now he's going to try this 2-railer. Okay, and now player 2 has to respond and make a 2-railer to avoid giving the first player a point. So now the first player has to make a 2-railer. Okay, now player 1, it's still 0-0. Player 1 now has to go 3 rails, and this is kind of a tough 3-rail kick. But okay, let's pretend I hit that. So Okay, well, actually, no, we won't. So player one missed the three railer. He loses his serve. So now, still 0-0, but now the second player gets the serve. And now the second player starts that next round by trying to make a one-rail kick. So, and now the first player has to match, otherwise player two gets a point. So it's still 0-0, but now the first guy misses the one-rail kick, so now the second player scores a point. So that's kind of the idea, is one player's on serve, they're trying to score a point by hitting a kick that the other person fails to hit. If the other guy misses the kick before he does, he gets a point. If he misses the kick before the other guy does, he loses his serve. Okay. That's the overall. And then, okay.
What about if someone makes a ball?
If you kick in the ball, regardless of whether you're on serve or not, if you ever kick in the ball, you score a point. You actually get a point for kicking in the ball, and then if the other guy serve. Meanwhile, if you kick and scratch, if you're serving, you just lose your serve. But if you're the defender and you're trying to match and you kick and scratch, then you would lose the point.
Yep.
So you'll see this come up. Now, why don't I have contact after hitting the ball? The reason for this is there's a couple things. One is that once you get to where you're starting to kick 4 and 5 railers, it makes it a lot more friendly. It allows for more fun kicks that come up. But the other thing I like is that there's a lot of strategy in how we maneuver these balls around. So if I've got a 2-rail kick, if I have a 2-rail kick, I know that if I kick 2 rails, the hardest place to hit this ball is going to be out in space. So I can kick 2 rails and try to, now here it wasn't as good. Now I left a little bit easier of a 2-railer, but maybe it's still tricky. So I'm trying to, you can do things to kind of like herd the balls into certain positions, and it adds strategy to the game to not have to hit a rail. All these types of maneuvers, once you're playing in real games at 9-ball, yeah, you have to hit a rail, but the practice that you get from kicking and hitting balls at different speeds and different maneuvers, I think it's you can learn a lot. Now, if you want to have your own house rules and make it so you have to hit a rail after contact, feel free. Whatever. I mean, I just made this game up for fun because it just made kick practice a lot more fun at the old Gelato house. That's all. Sound good?
All right. I'm ready to give you some competition this time.
Yeah, I want to see. We never really got any fun things yesterday. Like, we never got to like 4 or 5 rails. So hopefully we have a better game. We're going to go to 10 points. Oh, so weak.
I'm weaker.
That's too bad. Okay, I got to serve.
Everybody let me know, how has the sounds been going? Has anybody been hearing any of the double echoing that's been occurring?
All right. So Chris has to hit 1 rail. Ooh. 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 Oh. Okay, now I got to hit 2 rails. I've never prayed for roll off as much in my life as I did just there. Oh, easy. Just had to cinch it. Didn't make it very tough for him, but had to make sure I got it. All right, now I got to go 3 rails. And there is a fun double the rail shot here. Boy, that'd be kind of cool, but it's a little bit too steep. All right. Good shot. This is a little touchy.
Oh, okay.
All right, the pressure is building. Now Chris has to make a 3-railer. So I score a point. The way that I would have done that one is I would have kicked this way, like I just did on the last shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that if you shot just before the side, with just a twist of running, that you can go 2 rails long on the side and you have a fairly big ball. Still tough, but okay. It was a tough lead. 1-0. All right. Woo. Okay, now you might be able to make this ball, but it's risky because if you hang it, you know the penalty.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave it easy. You miss it.
So I'm just gonna shoot straight into the rail first and try to catch it on the kick.
Good shot. Good shot. All right, we both made one. I still got the serve. Oh no! Oh. All right. So now I've got to hit 2 rails. Oh, couldn't overhit it. All right, now Chris has to serve. So I failed to hit my 1 railer. So I'm up 1-0. Chris is serving. Hit. Now I'm going to take a shot at pocketing this ball. I don't. That sounds like obvious, but you don't always have to kick it to make it. This is one where I'm going to give it a chance. All right, now Chris needs a 2-railer. I left it pretty friendly, unfortunately. Shot. Now, if I don't hit this, Chris gets me back. He said to me he's not going to give it to me today. Of course, when you hang it in front of the side pocket like this, you're just asking for trouble. All right, Chris, you get a point. Is it 1-1?
Yes.
And you're serving. All right, so you shoot from the spot. Good shot, Chris. Good shot.
Thank you.
We're going to have a battle. It's 1-1. You're on the spot. On the spot.
Oh.
I'm right on the spot. Not that a little bit. Ooh. Nice hit. All right. Okay, you got to do 2 rails. Now, I made him earn it this time. It's a little tougher to get 2 rails here. Good shot. Good shot.
Thank you.
Fortunately for me, this is not the worst 2-rail kick of all time. But if I kick it and scratch, I lose a point. And if I kick it and leave it over
Wait,
here,
you lose a point, or I thought I get a point?
you get. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. It's like I lose the point. But if I kick it and leave it in the big ball position, that's not the best either. So for that reason, I might get a little risky on this shot. Try to kick it out of there a little bit. Now, I didn't do me much good. It ended up on the rail again. You need 3 rails. Well, I got a little. It didn't get in the big ball position. It's still tough. Nice shot. Look at this shot, guys. Good try. Uh-oh. but now I can go one rail. I wonder whatever shall I do. Okay, I'm going to point Chris's serve up 2-1.
Now, what about if the ball was frozen to the rail?
Then I mean, it would be hard, but as long as you think it rail first, you're okay. And
Okay.
if you're a player, you know this stuff, but if it's a split hit, it's not going to count. What a hit. All right, Chris is on serve. I'm up 2-1, but he's on serve. I got to make a one railer. And it's really embarrassing when you give up a point on a one railer like this. It happens, man. It happens, but it's embarrassing. Oh no, put it in the corner for him. Oh man. Easy two railer.
He says easy.
Oh, like 3 different pockets you almost made that in. All right. Watch the hit. I got to get the second rail.
Good.
Now you got to do 3 rails. Get out of that
I just got done doing something like this. This one is, I think, slightly easier. See if I can get the third rail in. Nope.
Okay, so that means I'm on serve. I got to make a one railer. Okay, 3-1. It's kind of, I feel a little dirty, but I'm going to take them because it's going to go both ways. Oh, I said it's going to go both ways. All right, 3-2. It's my serve. Good
I
job.
got lucky.
Oh, I don't know about that. He's hustling me. Don't scratch me. Okay. All right. See if you can make a one rail hit here. I dare you.
Let's see here.
Ooh. All right. I got to make a two railer. This is the one I missed short before. Just didn't get it to bite enough. I still like it. Okay, you got to make a two railer.
Okay.
Good. Good. Now I got to make. Oh wow! Did you make it?
Hey.
All right. I'm on one. It's 3-3, and I'm on a one railer. Oh no! Get off that rail. Oh no!
Yep. I'm gonna try it. Oh, I might scratch though.
Oh, don't even worry about the scratch. I'm
Don't
sure-
worry about the scratch.
Don't even worry about it.
No, I don't like it.
All right, so now I got to make a two railer. It's 3-3. I got to go 2 rails. And this ball's getting out in space again, huh? All right. going to 1 rail. I want to get to where we're having 4 and 5 railers soon. So I decided to hit that really soft. I thought about kicking it, but I'm like, I don't want it anywhere close to the pocket. So I just wanted this. I'm playing a little defense. I'm gonna say I want to just get through the early kicks so that it comes down to multi-rail kicks as opposed to pocketing balls. Nice shot. Nice shot. That's a good spot to leave it. Very good spot to leave it. Oh, dirty. This is ugly. There's no kick to that spot, is there? All right, you're going to 1. Good shot, Chris. You got it.
Thank you.
How do you like it? How do you like it? All right, you're going to 2. Show me.
This is where 3 cushion becomes fun as well. If anybody's familiar with playing 3 cushion billiards.
All right, I'm going to 1. This is one of those kicks that looks easy, but it's often missed. This kick right here. Okay, you're going to 1. Uh-oh.
So we do have a question. This is from Mike Yarlod. It says, do you have to go up or can you keep doing 3 rails until the server gets a better chance to up the rails? So if I understand the question correctly, you start at 1 because that's the minimum requirement. You don't have to do 1 rail. You can do 1 or more. But when you get to 2, you have to do 2 or more. And then 3 is 3 or more, so on and so forth. That's correct?
Right.
Yeah. And then Willie B plays. You're wanting to know what we're doing. This is a kicking game that we're doing just so we can help improve our kicks. Demetrius is currently the server, so imagine if you're playing a game of horse where he did something first and I have to try to copy it. If I fail to copy it, then he ends up scoring a point. If he ends up failing to do whatever he's supposed to be doing, then the serve will come back to me. And when you're a server, that's when you have the opportunity to score a point, kind of like in tennis or volleyball.
All right, so you got to make a 1 rail kick right here.
1 rail kick? Well, I'm going to try to kick this in.
You don't want to cinch it?
I'm going to try to kick it in.
Oh, 5-3. He got greedy. But I don't blame him because now I want to get greedy. But I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with my game plan. Maybe I kick it in the corner. Maybe I scratch. Okay, you got to make it 1 rail hit. Careful cue ball. Okay, I got to make a 2 rail hit. Good shot, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, these shots again. I've missed these a million times. They look foolproof, but I've learned that they are not foolproof. Yeah, that's easy to do. All right, you're going to 1. I'm at 5-3, but it's your serve. Oh my
come on.
goodness, right around it.
Almost.
Well, and I'm gonna see if I can snip it in the side with a little. Well, it's my serve. You're trying to duplicate my one.
Yep.
I made one. Oh no.
Yep. And I'm gonna try to kick this in again. The difference is I'm not gonna try to roll it in.
Oh, that have chances, man. I feel very lucky. Okay, but that's a small ball. I can't kick this way, really, because I'd have to get very lucky to pick up the second rail. It's a pretty good shot. I might try your shot, but I wonder if I can get it this way. I don't know, man. I don't think so. Why did you have to do that? Got to kick 2 rails. I could kick this way and just hope to pick up the second rail. That's reasonable. I mean, it's not easy, but no. Okay, your serve. Going for 1 rail.
I thought that was my serve.
Oh, what? No. No. You lost your serve on that one where you Z'd around it.
Oh, you're right. You're
But
right.
your serve now. Nice try. I got to give you credit, man. You're coming at me with the moves.
All right, 1 rail.
Oh, don't
3
do
rails.
that.
Never mind. Whatever that was.
All right. You gotta make a 2-railer. Get funny. It's a little funny. And the reason, while you're thinking, I'll tell the chat, the reason I like practicing kicks, most people neglect them for this reason. Think about 2 different ways to lose a match. One way you lose is somebody plays a safety, you miss the kick and they run out. The other way to lose is you run down to the 8 ball and choke and dog the 8. Oh.
And he still hit it.
Okay, so I gotta make a 2-reeler. So the problem is that it's more emotionally painful to lose the game by missing than it is to lose by airballing a kick and watching the guy run out. But they both penalize you just as much. So people like to practice the stuff where it's like, well, I don't want to miss that 8 ball again. But then it didn't hurt them as much to miss the kick, so they neglect it. But really, it's the same penalty. So I gotta kick this ball, then I'll continue. Okay, you gotta go 3 rails now. What I will say is I played a match one time that was a multi-day money match. It was a pretty serious match for me at the time. And the first day we played, it seesawed most of the day. And as I was thinking about that match that night, I realized that I gave up ball in hand too many times where I could have just make them play. It's amazing the value of making somebody play off the table. If you hit the ball and make them earn it, sometimes they get a funny angle. Sometimes they're over a ball. Sometimes they have no real way to get on the next ball. Maybe it's a shot that they've been struggling with. Maybe it's just that they were expecting ball in hand and they weren't prepared to have to play off the table. So I found it sounds so obvious, just hit the ball. But, okay, I'm on serve up 5-3. It sounds so obvious, but I just really, oh no. Chris, it's your turn now. Make sure you catch that rail first. Ooh. Yeah, you can do it. Just make sure we know what the difference between a rail first is.
Oh. I don't want to.
That's fine.
Leave it up for questioning.
Okay. Maybe that's a good rule. If it's frozen, you can't go rail first. I'm okay with that rule. Okay, 5-4, my scores. Good shot.
Thank you.
So I just feel that it sounds obvious, but not enough people put enough priority on just cinching hits. Okay, you're going for 1. Oh, again. Again, it gets right up.
Now this one I can try.
Yeah. All right, spot it up, 5-5. Okay, now I gotta go 2.
Woo!
Okay, you gotta go 2. Good shot, Chris. Yeah, I gotta go 3 rails now. Okay, you gotta go 3 rails.
Okay.
All right, 6-5.
6-5.
My serve. Get out space.
Nope.
Oh no, 7-5.
I was trying to cinch that one, so
Yeah.
it's still in the middle of the table for a 2-rail kick.
Yep, 7-5. My serve. Hold it, cue ball. Okay. Oh, you're only going 1 rail.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 7-5. You get a good hit. I got this one again. You put it right frozen. Very nice. Very nice. So this is a tough spot to kick 2 rails because I'm not sure about that, what I tried last time. And I don't know, trying to get to that spot on the rail. Let me just think about this. All right, I'm going to try it.
Nice hit. Did it make?
8-5.
Holy cow, wow.
8-5.
And then you almost put it right back in reset.
I know, we're back to the beginning. Oh, get out of there, 4-ball. You have no business being there. Get in the way side pocket point. That's unbelievable. Oh no, you gotta make a 2-railer.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, okay. 8-5, I gotta make a 1-railer. I'm just gonna keep this one. I don't want to scratch. I'm gonna go off the top side of it, maybe.
Come on.
And that's a good safety. Like, I'm not saying in this game that's a good safety, but like that's a 9-ball safety where you kick off the top of the ball, it creates separation.
Come on, 1, right?
Yeah, you're kicking a 1-rail. Yeah, nothing crazy. Just
Try to go behind it.
all right. Is it gonna freeze again on that 3rd diamond? Okay. I'm just whining. Do I get the 1? I get the 1. Why can't I freeze it on the third diamond once? How do you do that? I gotta teach me that. Okay, so I'm going to 3 rails, and this is not the easiest position to kick 3 rails. It's not terrible, but it's not a huge ball. It's coming short if I go this way. There's 5 railers.
So, Russ Randall, the answer to your question is that is correct. Whoever is the starting player of the round starts with 1 rail. If the second player makes it, then they go up to 2 rails, and that is the minimum number of rails that they have to hit before they contact the object ball.
Curve into it a little bit. I just feel like it's kind of short. Okay, I gotta try 5. I'm not saying I love it. Oh, now you're close. All right, I don't lose. I just lose my serve.
Yep.
Oh, he went for it. He's getting angry. I wouldn't like it when he's angry. Now, this actually got kind of tough with this frozen here. I have to make probably a multi-rail kick now. So, Chris, like when I have a ball like this, like it's just like 3 goes. I'm playing it 3 rails instead of 1 because I feel it gives me a huge ball. I can make it off the 3rd rail or directly. So that's why I'm not just kicking 1 rail here. Okay, so now you're going to 2.
2.
Good shot, good shot. It's a little finicky.
So, Mike Yarlock, whoever is shooting can go up to as many rails as they want. They just have to make sure they at least get the minimum number of rails.
All right, you got me.
8 to 6.
8 to 6. Chris is shooting. I made a good hit, but I wasn't really able to control anything. And see, it's just tough.
Well, if I scored my point, that means it's your serve, right?
No, but I scratched, so it's nobody ever shoots twice in a row. That's it. Nobody ever shoots twice in a row. So it's the same as if I missed a kick.
Gotcha. Actually, I'm just curious.
Oh, you got to shoot from the spot.
That's right. I have to shoot from the spot. Never mind. So that changes things a bit. Let's see here.
Shot. All right, I got to make a 1 rail. It's getting down serious. Things are getting serious. Yeah, I'm going to try to get it out a little bit tough.
At least you're not destroying me like you did the first time we played this.
No, it's going well. It's a good game. But I try to make this one, it's not impossible to hit 2 rails, but it's not automatic. That's all. win the serve. And this pocket is right in my way. I think I can lengthen it. One. Okay, so you're gonna make a one reeler. Okay.
Well, that was luck. I was trying to kick to the side pocket.
Of course, but it happens. 8-7. Last it again if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a tough two-railer I gotta make. Maybe I can wrap it up, but that's a little tricksy. Oh, I got it.
Nice cinch hit.
All right.
2 rails?
2 rails. I was trying to thin it to keep it in the
Nope.
All right, 9-6. That's a big point right there. I needed to get on the hill. Whew. Okay. Uh-oh.
Woo.
Oh, at least I got a good 2-railer. Got it in a good spot. Not bad. On the hill. Must make contact. Oh no! It
Not gonna
landed.
get it.
Chris, good shooting today. Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
That's a good
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna figure it out. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's, we never got to 4 rails, but we had some good 3-rail battles, and yeah, it's fun. So.
All right, everybody. We got maybe another hour or 2 left. What does anybody want to see? Do we want to see some more straight pull? Do we want maybe some 10-ball action, or what do y'all think? Or do y'all have any questions? Like I said, the rest of the stream is pretty much supposed to be for fun. And while I'm over here, hi everybody. What do y'all think of the 3 times drill? What do y'all think of this kicking game? Like, this is certainly something fun to do. I think at least with a partner. Let's see here. A-Funk, you want to know about 15-ball rotation? Let me ask Demi when he comes back. Fault, you're loving my... did you get the sandbagger shirt that you got from Fast and Loose Design? Because I have the same sandbagger shirt that has like the little the Predator. I don't know. Does anybody know if the Predator logo is a panther, a cougar, or whatever the cat animal it's supposed to be? I don't know what they. I don't remember what they officially call it. Or in this case, would we say jaguar because it's black on this one?
Oh, I got one idea too that won't take long, but
Somebody's asking for one rack of 15 ball rotation.
Okay, I'll tell you, we can do that. I think so my buddy and I, Josh, we've done podcasts on this. I think most players should play shorter racks, not longer racks. There's a what do you call it, conventional wisdom or cliche in the pool world that Efren Reyes, the greatest, came and he's the greatest of all time, and he grew up playing 15 balls. So then when he played 9 ball, everything looked easy, and that's why he was so good. The fact is, though, is that if you aren't good enough to run 15 balls in order, playing 15 ball rotation doesn't magically make you better. All it does is makes it so that the first 20 shots of the game don't matter. And so when I watch players play 9 ball that are like lower level intermediates or beginners, where it's like they bat the 1 around for a while, then they bat the 2 around for a while, then somebody makes the 2 and the 3, and then they swat the 4 around, and then it's like back and forth, 20 innings, see who can make a ball at a time until finally they're down to 3 or 4 balls where somebody actually has a chance to run out. So for those 2 players, I'd be like, why are we playing 9 ball? The 1 ball doesn't matter unless you end up selling out a 1-9 combo. So it's like all you're doing is missing balls and practicing shots that don't matter. I'd rather see those 2 guys play 4 ball or 5 ball, where at any time both players were reliable to run the rack out. That all of a sudden every shot matters. They're building, and then you can build as your skill level builds. You can build up from there. So that's my opinion. I think playing 15 rack rotation doesn't automatically make you better. I just feel like you're just wasting a lot of time out of your practice struggling and failing and stuff that's too tough and isn't really paying off. But that being said, I'm happy to play a rack rotation. Can I demo a quick kick system real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to talk about this kick system. For me to use a kick system, 3 things for me to like a system. 1, it has to come up a lot. If it doesn't come up a lot, if it comes up once a year, I'm not going to bother with the system. 2, the system has to be super easy for me to understand or remember. And 3, it has to be pretty accurate and actually a lot more accurate than I feel. So if a system doesn't come up often, forget it. If it's hard to remember, forget it. And if I have a good feel for that type of kick, like a rail first, I'm pretty good at rail first shots, so I don't bother with systems for that. This is a kick that comes up a lot, that my feel is poor on, and it's easy to remember. So this is a system I do use.
Okay.
Kicking to this side pocket, 2 rails. This diamond 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, diamond 1, 2, 3. If you're kicking from a line from 1 to 1, and I haven't really tested this table, but on most tables, with some running spin, you go, so I went a little bit long.
Now, to be clear, you're not aiming at the rail in front of the diamond. You're aiming whatever the rail is that leads to the diamond. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm aiming right at the diamond. So I'm going long. So on this table, I have to adjust and use very little running spin to get that side, and I'm still hitting short of that side. So this is a little bit different than what I'm used to. So that's why I'm practicing. But once you get it dialed in, it's very accurate. So 2 to 2, I should again use very little running spin. Okay, and it goes right to the side. And then 3 to 3, you're actually aiming to hit in front of the side because of the point. So now I've learned that when I'm coming, I'm sorry guys, it's a little, on most tables this is like completely dialed. I'm learning that the flatter I'm coming in, the more spin I use. The more diagonally I'm coming in, the less spin I need. So now I've kind of got that figured out. So here's some of the things you can do with that. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. First of all, suppose I'm trying to hit a ball. Well, okay, let's talk about what happens when I'm in between these. So now, if I just move my cue ball, so I'm somewhere in between these. Well, here's 2 to 2. Here's 1 to 1. I'm actually very close to the 1 to 1. Let's just put me in the middle. So here I'm in between. So now I'm like 1.4 to 1.4. And I know that I don't need a lot of spin. And all of a sudden, it's like I can be very accurate. I'll do one more. Let's just say I'm over here now. Well, I know 3 to 3, and I know 2 to 2. So this is like 2.3 to 2.3. And I know that I need increasing spin as I get over here. And I can be very accurate. I didn't make it. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do is you kind of feel your way in between. The other cool thing is, suppose I wanted to hit a ball that's a little bit like, remember when that ball was on that third diamond? Okay, so now I need to hit a diamond further. Well, if 1 goes to 1, brings me to the side, then if I go 1 to 2, a diamond higher, it'll take me a diamond lower on the third rail. So I can go 1 to 2 over here. And
nice.
hit there. Now the really cool part, this is a hard kick when you have to kick past the side. If you've ever had a kick like this, where you got to go 2 rails past the side. But now I know 1 to 1, 2 to 2. So if I wanted to kick the side, I'd go 1.5 to 1.5. But now I want to go a diamond long. I could go 1.5 to 1/2. And I can go long of that ball. And so this is really cool because the same story at a kick like this. Normally I'd go 3 to 3 to kick to the side, but now that point's kind of in the way. So now I'd still go 3 to 3 and I just back off the spin a little bit. So there's
nice.
amazing things. Now the other thing is when that ball's out in space like this. Okay, 1 to 1, 2 to 2. Now it's not sitting right in front of the side, but I can start to kind of visualize. Okay, if I went 1 1, it's kind of coming on this line, and so that's kind of on the line. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 1.5 to 1.5. So I can start kind of.
Nice.
So anyway, these are the things, that system, I use that system because once you, I understand your table pretty well right now, and I didn't miss a ball. Like, I mean, I missed pocketing it, and so you can use this for stuff that's out in space. If the ball's out here and my cue ball's here and I gotta go 2 rails this way, okay, this is the hardest hit yet, right? 2 rails out in space. Well, if I know 3 to 3 goes to the side, 3.2, 3.2, so this goes to the side, and I can kind of visualize from here, 1, it's gonna hit like, this is the line of 3 to 3. So I need to hit a diamond, further. So instead of going 3.5, 3.2 to 3.2, I'm gonna add like a diamond over here. And I missed one. But it's okay. Maybe I overspun. But anyway, this gives me kind of an idea where normally I would be totally lost at sea.
No,
so I wanted
great.
to share that with the audience because I feel that that's a good system, and that's what I was using when I was hitting those kicks. Okay, should we play some rotation?
I'm definitely gonna have to remember that. I want a rematch of 10 ball.
Okay. What was race to 5? Do we have time for a race to 5? The game's go quick, right?
Yeah.
I bet we do. What time is it?
That'll work. We can do a race to 5. Get some points.
Just grab 1. Good stuff.
All right. We got some coin counters.
All right. Our last set, man. Let's make it fun.
Gotta get my redemption here. You get a good lag at least.
Crush it this time. All right.
Yes!
It's a tie.
It's not a tie! It's not a tie!
Or that's what it is.
Yeah, right.
All right. Winner breaks, too. You get a chance. You can close me out.
All right.
I'm going to collaborate you together just in case, though. Just in case. In case the microphone can pick this up. It's time to open up a can of... Nothing.
way too soft. Now you're about to see a real serious side of Demetrius when we actually play sets. Still turns out good. All right. Call it two. Ugh, first shot. Didn't even get shape on the three. What a shot. out. Whoops.
Break you down. I think it's carbon fiber. I might have hurt your wall, but my cue was in no danger. Down the corner. Nah, just kidding. Well, I'm going to call it two rails.
Go in. Ah, ha, 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 you kidding me? It's debating on whether if I want to jump clip it or go ahead and kick it.
Open hand, I'm going to say.
Oh, are you serious?
Am I feeling lucky today? I don't feel it.
shot.
I'm just kidding.
Just barely bought. Thank you.
Good thing we play the kicking game.
Right after all that kicking practice. Thank you. At least it's not a shutout. Not as exciting as our first game where we just kept capitalizing on everybody's racks. We're actually having to do moves on this set.
It's early.
Oh.
Put it 7.
I'm gonna hit that bar full. Safe. Actually, no. I'm gonna just call inside. You don't have to call safe. 10 ball.
Six, 9, 10, 8 combo?
Yeah.
Good shot.
Thank you.
Six up there.
Okay. Right on track. Just too soft. shot. Okay.
Oh, one side.
Okay.
Cross corner 156. Call the one.
I can work with that. I'm going to call the 4. Side pocket. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to call it 10. Corner pocket.
2 ball by the 6.
Thank you. This is probably not the smartest play, but I'm not sure I see an alternative. All right. Hold on one. I'm fixing some rolls here. It's called 3. Woo! I'll assist on the side. shot. And the man breaks and runs on the hill.
Oh, as much as I wanted to see a Christmas Hill.
Oh, man. That was too good a shooting.
Yeah, good shooting, Chris. You're hitting them good, man. You're hitting them good.
Thank you. Well, everybody, that's pretty much going to conclude this trio of live streams that we were able to do while Demetrius was here with me. So I want to thank you so much for coming down to visit. We've got a couple of things that we've got to do later in the evening before he goes home for tomorrow. But all I can say is I hope everybody was able to at least enjoy, let alone learn things from each and one of the live streams. I think all three of them, we did begin with some sort of lesson, and then you got to see us just shoot and have fun. So, Demetrius, I give you the final words.
Yeah. Hope somebody took something out of it and enjoyed it. For those that did, I'm glad, I had a good time. I hope you did too. So thanks for tuning in. Again, anybody that's interested in connecting with me, whether it's for coaching or just questions or comments, my email is info@mnpoolbootcamp.com. And my YouTube channel, I don't really I'm not a big YouTuber like Chris, but I'd like you can check it out. I've got some stuff coming that I think you might enjoy. So by all means, shoot me an email if you have any questions about anything I talked about, or if you'd like to connect about potentially training together in 2023. Until then, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody, and have a Merry Christmas.